Brave Nation, hold on to your hats. We are just weeks away from opening day, and while the roster looked stacked, there were two massive glaring question marks hanging over the early schedule: Sean Murphy and Ha-Seong Kim. The initial projection, the whisper we've been hearing, was a tough pill to swallow. June. June was the earliest we expected to see our star catcher and our high-upside shortstop acquisition. But today, everything changed. We have urgent breaking insider information that completely shifts the timeline and, frankly, the entire calculus of the National League East race. According to reports circulating this morning, sourced from MLB.com's Mark Bowman, the Atlanta Braves are now aggressively hopeful for an accelerated timeline. We're not talking about June anymore, we are talking about May. Both Sean Murphy and Ha-Seong Kim could potentially be activated from the injured list sometime during the month of May. This is not just good news. This is franchise-altering news when you consider the competitive landscape of the division. Let's break down the impact, starting with Sean Murphy. We knew, at the very least, he was going to miss the entire first month of the season recovering from that necessary hip surgery. But now, management is hopeful he could be back at virtually any point in May. Think about what that means for the overall strength of this lineup. When Murphy is healthy, he is an all-star caliber catcher, arguably one of the best two-way players at his position in the entire league. We saw the tale of 2 seasons from Murphy last year. Up until July 20th, he was crushing the ball, batting .236 with a stellar .845 OPS. But the final month, the month where the injury was clearly catching up to him, was brutal. He plummeted, hitting just .094 with an abysmal .376 OPS over 31 games before being shut down. That's the difference between a healthy Murphy and an injured Murphy. An early May return means we get the all-star version for, potentially, 90% of the season, avoiding the slow, tentative comeback typical of such a demanding recovery. During his absence, we know Drake Baldwin is scheduled to take over the everyday duties behind the plate, rotating with the DH spot. Once Murphy is back, the strategy is clearly going to be a highly effective rotation, maximizing both players' health and utility. Baldwin will likely see more DH time, allowing Murphy necessary breaks, which is a smart, forward-thinking approach that protects the franchise investment. Now let's pivot to Ha-Seong Kim. Kim underwent surgery on January 18th, and the initial prognosis was a serious 4 to 5 months out. If we were looking at 5 months, we were deep into June. The Braves are now hopeful he is on the sooner end of that projection, mid-May at the earliest. It's highly unlikely they would rush him, especially given how hard they fought to acquire him, but having him ready for the latter half of May is an enormous victory. Remember Kim's story. His time with the Rays was derailed by injury, which led to him being put on waivers. The Braves smartly scooped him up, and once healthy, he showed exactly why they made that move. Before he went hitless in the final 3 games of the season, he was batting .289 with a .770 OPS. That is solid, reliable production from the shortstop position, a position that has seen some volatility for Atlanta. In his stead, Mauricio Dubon is expected to start the season at shortstop. Dubon is a valuable utility player, capable of playing multiple positions, and that flexibility is key. But getting Kim back in May stabilizes the infield defense and provides a crucial offensive threat, right as the early season grind starts to test the depth of competing teams. This early return window for both Murphy and Kim is the shot in the arm this club needs. The ability to avoid significant gaps in high-leverage positions during April and May fundamentally alters the team's early ceiling. It allows manager Walt Weiss to deploy his full strategy, utilizing the DH rotation, featuring Mike Yastrzemski's added bat, and maximizing depth rather than scrambling to cover major roster holes. We've been discussing June as the turnaround point, Moving that expectation forward to May means the Braves will have their foundational core solidified far earlier. This isn't just about winning games in May. It's about setting the stage for June, July, and an inevitable run at the division title. The early bird gets the worm, and if the Braves get two all-star caliber pieces back a month ahead of schedule, the rest of the NL East needs to seriously reconsider their projections. This changes everything.